Hey, good afternoon, folks. It's November 19th, and my favorite meal is coming up. That's Thanksgiving. This little recipe here was handed down to my mom from the Relier family. That's at Essex Junction, Vermont, way back then. There's the ingredients and the finishing steps. This is an all-day cook, so we're just going to take our time. Meanwhile, we're going to do some applesauce. And the beans are going. And then we are also going to do the crust recipe for any pie, but in specific for tortilla, French meat pie. Check on in. Thank you, D Community. So what we're going to do today is these beans we're going to parboil for about an hour, just with regular tap water. And let's talk about the apples. Now, for the last several days, I'm just going to add a pinch of salt here. There's already some water on the bottom of this. I've been learning about one of our sponsors. This is D Community. What an outfit. Very impressive. With a great plan. Now, they're not paying me to say this. This is just what I've found out with research. It's like a new chef wanting to be the head chef and not spending the time to be a sous chef. To be able to perform on demand and in an emergency, maybe. When food runs out, you can make more, right? Everybody seems to want to just jump to the head of the line. Let's take, for example, this debacle that's going on with Bankman Fried. Now, this group of, well, probably shouldn't even been sous chefs, I'm going to cover this, has essentially capitalized on the weakness of lack of knowledge, because there's no clear borders and people can freelance. The SEC will inevitably do what they can, but it's a decentralized crypto market. It makes the ones that either can or can't have a bank account manage their funds and take full control without all the fees normally associated with banks. To do more, to invest while you're doing it, right? I learned a lot from D Community. I can't thank them enough for this oven and range to let me do what I do. And that's what D Community is. From what I've understood, D Community is helping people like myself who want to work, but otherwise can't, and let life continue on in a much more freer format that's dependent upon the self rather than the handlers. So while we cook today, keep in mind there's a reason. You can call it hazing, you can call it a number of things, mentoring. You have to be able to spend the time in the trenches, preparing food, learning how to use a knife, be able to get the most out of food. Restaurateurs, they're trying to gather as much as they can with what they can, right? So I hope you enjoy this cook. It's be going on through day, and I'll piece it all together. And I just want to thank you for coming into our home and getting ready to enjoy a Thanksgiving feast. There'll be 6.5 of us for dinner. It's going to stink good in here today. Now, of course, organization and preparation for whatever you need is important. Now our applesauce here has just started to boil with the cover on, and turn it up just a little more. Put about a half cup. Can always add more later. And those sugar crystals are all going to start melting together. And this will make a nice sauce. Beans are coming up to a boil. Turn those up just a little bit. And once they go, then it'll be an hour. So our applesauce is getting ready to start taste testing. We'll be able to fine tune that. Here we have the ingredients for the finished par cooked baked beans. We're gonna add 3/4 cup of maple syrup. Got this from Eddie's here in Bladenboro. Got a 1/3 cup of molasses. And then these seasonings, and then we're gonna mix it all together. Alright, finishing up for a little noonish eggs. Added a strip of bacon to the applesauce and a little bit of orange extract, just for a counter flavor. And I'm just waiting for this water to come up to a boil. I'm going to pour it on top of the beans, and the beans are going to go in the covered dish, fully covered. And you got to maintain. I'm going to cook this over 5 hours at 300. You're maintaining water level to cover that, and then some salt pork will go on top. And here we are, ready to cover and go in the oven. Now, you can train any cook to follow the recipe. The chef knows how to take care of the precious art and putting the recipe away safely and saving baking grease. Now, the taste test on the applesauce has the right amount of salt. I want to keep it slightly tart. I did add about 1.5 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of butter. It'll go along with the bacon, and the bacon will eventually come out and have a nice, robust applesauce for Thanksgiving Day. Shy of maybe some warm-up on Thanksgiving Day, the applesauce is done. And so far, 2 hours into the cook, here's our baked beans. Gonna cap them off with some boiling water and then seal her up and let her go. So it's 7 p.m. and 1 more hour of cook. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this uncovered this time and let everything kind of crust up. Get all the salts and sugars, make a nice crust. Our applesauce is stored, and for the most part, we're cleaned up. Now, as to the Samsung stove, wonderful. Going to be testing out the proofing. It's a nice bun warmer down here, and it's all controlled by my phone, which is wonderful. So very high marks for the Samsung. Now the oven's empty outside the sugar plate, and here are some beautiful baked beans. Purposely chose Lima against the recipe. Diesel these days, you may not be able to get the beans you want, but you might find something very tasty.